All right, guys, we are live. So, I'm going to be talking about the importance of functional training. Um, Most of you know me as the self-defense coach, but what you don't know, I'm also a fitness coach and trainer. I've been training myself. I started training when I was 16. I got certified about 10 years ago, but my whole life has been in the health and wellness, fitness mindset. And one of the things that, to me, over my years of evolution as training myself and being a trainer, I also saw the importance of functional training and being able to see the difference between your regular bodybuilding training and your functional training. Before we start, guys, go visit my website, nickdrossos.com. I have brand new fight analysis, combat conditioning series, knife defense, women's self-defense, and so much more. As well as if you want to train with me one-on-one, I'm offering that online as well. So I'm doing online training. I'm training people from the UK, Canada, US, Amsterdam. So I got people all around the world that I'm doing one-on-one privates. If you guys are interested, check out my website, nickdrossos.com. Now, what is functional training? Now, when I started training when I was 16, I was doing regular like bench press and bicep curls and basically movements that didn't really it engages your core, but not as much as doing functional training or movement. So when you look at functional training, let's say you're doing a bench press. So if you're doing a bench press on a bench, flat bench, great, you're gonna build a lot of strength. If you wanna make it a little bit more functional, you would do it on the Swiss ball. So you take the Swiss ball, the two weights, and you could alternate where your core is a little bit more engaged. So that the exercise becomes a little bit more functional. Now, when we're looking at fighting, if you're in any kind of sport, hockey, baseball, boxing, self-defense, you need functional training. What does that mean? That means you need to train, strength train with movement. The importance of being able to produce and to generate a lot of force and explosive power through movement. So if I tell you, pick up the bar and put it over your head, do presses, it's one thing. But if I tell you pick it up, run, and then throw it, then you start making it more functional. I'll give you guys a little bit more example. Like one of the things I do a lot for functional training is I do a lot of chops. So I'll just use the TRX, guys. We're in the COVID right now, so I don't really have a camera guy. So I'm actually gonna do my series of chops where I'll grab the TRX grip and I'll just, right? So this is actually one of my favorite movements that I like doing a lot is chops, right? So I'll come here. Now this is made to help me with my punching power. So I'm twisting at the same time, I'm engaging my core. So that's a functional exercise which requires my whole body, right? Where I'm twisting at the same time as I'm pushing, I'm pulling, I'm lifting. So functional training is important. Again, if you were a hockey player, you would take the movements of a hockey stick where you're doing this and maybe take the TRX grip on the bottom and pretend you're doing a slap shot. So you're taking the movements that you would do in your sport and you would add resistance to them. Resistance, and as well teaching your body how to move in one motion. You see, the other thing is when you're doing, let's say bench press, you're lying on the bench, you're making one motion. If you're squatting, right, you're squatting one motion. But through strength training, functional strength training, you would maybe squat with a chop, and right there, the exercise changes. So, and I look at it in terms of my years of exercise and training when I was back then just doing my regular strength training. I was big. I was bigger. I was pretty strong, but I wasn't mobile. I couldn't generate a lot of force and a lot of power in movement. And I've seen guys who are bigger than me, they're stronger in one plane, but when I either grapple with them or I clinch with them, they couldn't generate and be explosive through movement. And that's super important, right? Especially for the guys and the women who are getting older, right? Like I'm 43 years old now. What do I want to maintain? My balance, my agility, my eye and hand coordination, my flexibility, right? So all those are, as we get older, and I don't want to say that age is just a number, but as well, we have to respect our bodies and realize that as we get older, some of those motor skills start to lessen, and we need to keep them sharp. We need to keep them going. And through functional training is probably the best way. You see, when I look at people who've done a lot of cardio, and I've always said cardio deteriorates the body, strength training strengthens the body. And I've actually, again, from my years of experience, I've had a woman come in here when I trained for 6 months, and she was lifting, she was strong, and it toned the body versus her husband who came in, who was just a marathon runner. At the end, I had them train together, and she was lifting more than him. So he had this great cardio where he could run 40 kilometers, but he couldn't lift barely a 10-pound weight over his head and do 15 reps. So again, that's the importance of strength training. So if you're in a self-defense, martial arts, any type of sport, you need to be training this way. Now you look at my gym, look what I have: TRX, bands, medicine balls, kettlebells. It's all functional workouts, all functional movements and training that are working and engaging your core and more or less, more of the time, your whole body. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to do your deadlifts, your squats, your chest press, your lats, your back pulls. Those are fine, but incorporate your strength training in there, right? So I've split my program where I do one day just strength and one day my fighting. In my fighting is my combat conditioning, which I have a series of videos of combat conditioning on my website, nickdrossos.com, so you guys can go check that out. And again, guys, don't neglect that aspect of functional training. It's very important in terms of, again, building strength through movement, right? Again, strengthening your core and your body, and again, keeping you agile through movement, right? If you're picking up something, you're picking up something off the ground, you got to be able to squat low, you got to be able to have a solid grip, pick yourself up. So all those movements, again, you're not really, you're not going to go and do movements that, don't make sense either. Overall, your functional training, as long as you're covering many planes, and if you're in the sports, you're doing those movements that you do through sports with strengthening, you're going to see a huge amount of increase in your power through movement. And that's really the most important thing, right? So when you're fighting, right, I got to be able to I got to be able to move really fast. I'm not going to get to that through just regular bodybuilding, right? Now, like I'm going to say it again, you're still going to build a crazy amount of strength. I've started doing the old school bodybuilding now. So I've gone a little bit old school where I'm like just going bench press, deadlift, squatting. Obviously the chin-ups are functional, right? Because again, you're using your body weight, and don't underestimate using your body weight, guys. One of the things that I swear at and I do the most is the weight vest, right? My 25-pound weight vest. People tell me, Nick, how do you get that flying knee? The reason I get that flying knee is because I'm always training with resistance, weight vest, bands, hand weights, bands pulling me back. So with that weight always keeping me down, right? So if I'm training and there's always a weight keeping me down, what happens is I become lighter. right? I become lighter where I can launch my knee and be very swift with it. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, any questions, go check out my website, nickdrossos.com. Can you guys leave a comment? I don't know if something's enabled here because I don't see a lot of people on it. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe.